ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयं उदीरयेत्। श्रीन्वतां स्वकता कृष्णा पुण्यश्रवणकीर्तनः हृदयान्तस्थो हि अभद्राणि विदुनोति सुहृत्सतां नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवते उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। Pranaridas, if you are there, you can speak up. Looks like Pranari Prabhu is not there. I think I forgot to send a reminder last night. So today we are continuing the chapter 33 from the third canto, last chapter from the canto and last few verses, and today we'll be reviewing that verse 26. ब्रह्माणि अवस्थिता मतिर् भगवती आत्म संश्रये निवृत्त जवापतिवत् क्षीण क्लेश शब्द निर्वृत्तिः. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Her mind became completely engaged in the Supreme Lord, and she automatically realized the knowledge of the impersonal Brahman. As a Brahman realized soul, she was freed from the designations of the materialistic concept of life. Thus, all material pangs disappeared and she attained transcendental bliss. The previous verse states that Devahuti was already conversant with the absolute truth. It may be questioned why she was meditating. The explanation is that when one theoretically discusses the absolute truth, he becomes situated in the impersonal concept of the absolute truth. Similarly, when one seriously discusses the subject matter of the form, qualities, pastimes, and entros of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he becomes situated in meditation on Him. If one has complete knowledge of the Supreme Lord, the knowledge of the impersonal Brahman is automatically realized. The absolute truth is realized by the knower according to the three different angles of vision, namely impersonal Brahman, localized super soul, and ultimately the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, if one is situated in the knowledge of the Supreme Person, this implies that one is already situated in the concept of super soul and impersonal Brahman. In Bhagavad Gita, it is said, Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma. This means that unless one is freed from the material entanglement and situated in Brahman, there is no question of entering into the understanding of devotional service or engaging in Krishna consciousness. One who is engaged in devotional service to Krishna is understood to be already realized in the Brahman concept of life, because transcendental knowledge of the Supreme Personality of Godhead includes knowledge of Brahman. This is confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita. Brahmanohi pratistaham. The concept of the personality of Godhead does not depend on Brahman. The Vishnu Purana also confirms that one who has taken shelter of all auspicious Supreme Lord is already situated in the understanding of Brahman. In other words, one who is Vaishnava is already Brahman. Another significant point of this verse is that one has to observe the prescribed rules and regulations as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, Yuktahara Viharasya. When one engages in devotional service in Krishna consciousness, he still has to eat, sleep, defend, and mate, because these are necessities of body. But he performs such activities in a regulated way. He has to eat Krishna Prasad. He has to sleep according to regulative principles. The principle is to reduce the duration of the sleep and reduce eating, taking only what is needed to keep the body fit. In short, the goal is spiritual advancement, not sense gratification. Similarly, sex life must be reduced. Sex life meant only for begetting Krishna conscious children. Otherwise, there is no necessity for the sex life. Nothing is prohibited, but everything is made yukta, regulated, and with the higher purpose always in mind. By following all these rules and regulations of the living, one becomes purified, and all misconceptions due to ignorance become nil. It is specifically mentioned here that the causes of material entanglement are completely vanquished. The Sanskrit statement anartha nivrutti indicates that this body is unwanted. We are spirit soul. There was never any need of this material body, but because we wanted to enjoy the material body, we have this body through the material energy under the direction of Supreme Personality of Godhead. As soon as we are re-established in our original position of servitorship to Supreme Lord, we begin to forget the necessities of the body, and at last we forget the body. Sometimes in a dream, we get a particular type of the body with which to work in the dream. I may dream that I am flying in the sky, that I have gone into the forest or some unknown place. But as soon as I am awake, I forget all these bodies. Similarly, when one in Krishna consciousness fully devoted, he forgets all his changes of body. We are always changing bodies, beginning at birth from womb of our mother. But when we are awakened to Krishna consciousness, we forget all these bodies. The bodily necessities become secondary, and for the primary necessity is the engagement of the soul in real spiritual life. The activities of devotional services in full Krishna consciousness are the cause of our being situated in the transcendence. These words, Bhagavati Atma Samshraye, denote the personality of Godhead as the supreme soul or the soul of everyone. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Bijam Mam Sarva Bhutanam, I am the seed of all entities. By taking shelter of Supreme Being by the process of devotional service, one becomes fully situated in the concept of the personality of Godhead. As described by Kapila, Madguna Shruti Matrena, one who is fully Krishna conscious, situated in the personality of Godhead, is immediately saturated with love of God as soon as he hears about the transcendental qualities of the Lord. Devahuti was fully instructed by her son how to concentrate our mind on Vishnu from form in full detail. Following the instructions of her son in the matter of devotional service, she contemplated the form of the Lord within herself with the great devotional love. That is the perfection of Brahman realization or the mystic yoga system or devotional service. Yet the ultimate issue, when one is fully absorbed in thought of Supreme Lord and meditates on Him constantly, that is the highest perfection. Bhagavad Gita confirms that one who is always absorbed in such a way is to be considered a topmost yogi. The real purpose of all processes of transcendental realization, Jnana Yoga, Dhyana Yoga, and or Bhakti Yoga, is to arrive at the point of devotional service. If one endeavors simply to achieve knowledge of the absolute truth or the super soul, but has no devotional service, he labors without gaining the real result. That is compared to beating the husks of the wheat after the grains have already been removed. Unless one understands the Supreme Personality of Godhead to be the ultimate goal, it is valueless simply to speculate or perform mystic yoga practice. In the Ashtanga Yoga system, the seventh stage of the perfection is dhyana. This dhyana is the third stage of in the devotional service. There are 9 stages of devotional service. The first is hearing, when then comes chanting, and then contemplating by executing devotional service. Therefore, one automatically becomes an expert jnani and expert yogi. In other words, jnana and yoga are different preliminary stages of devotional service. Devahuti was expert in accepting the real substance. She contemplated the form of Vishnu in detail, as advised by her smiling son Kapiladeva. At the same time, she was thinking of Kapiladeva, who is Supreme Personality of Godhead, and therefore she completely perfected her austerities, penances, and transcendental realization. Is Pranahari Prabhu here? Let's see. Sorry. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namni, Namaste Saraswati Deve, Gauravani Pracharani, Nirvishesha Shunyavadi, Paschatya Deshatarani, Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita Gadadhara, Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. I seek blessings of us all the assembled devotees, and please forgive me for any shortcomings. So we are in the Canto 3, chapter 33, which is activities of Kapila. Last few verses we are talking about, how Devahuti achieved the perfection, her practice and how her intense austerities, detachment, and meditation on the Lord's form, and also her achievement, bliss due to destruction of the samsara, samadhi, attaining the Lord at Siddhapada, and her purified body become a sacred river. So, coming to today's words, it says that her mind became completely engaged in the Supreme Lord. She automatically realized the knowledge of the impersonal Brahman, and as a realized soul, she was free from the designations of material concept of the life. So, as we heard yesterday, Arya Narayan Prabhu explained beautifully. Uh, Devahuti is fully detached. She is not in the bodily consciousness. She is following severe austerities, and even though she has all the opulences, palace, beautiful palace, everything, she understood the purpose of the life and how to do a devotional service, you know, from his son, and is also a supreme personality of Godhead. So, and when she realized that his son is a supreme personality of Godhead, she glorifies his son, and she no longer sees him as a son, and she sees him as a supreme personality of Godhead, and only way she can reach ultimate purpose of life is to engaging in the devotional service. So as she absorbed in all this devotional service and following the austerities, and decreasing or reducing all her bodily needs, just to focus on the meditate upon the supreme personality of the Godhead, and chanting his holy names. Now Devahuti has realized that, and when one fully is when one fully is in the transcendence, and then they will be freed from the designations of the material concept of the life. A lot of times Prabhupada was asked, can we realize the God, how long it takes? Prabhupada only says it takes a second. As long as one fully surrenders and follow the regulative principles, and follow the Krishna consciousness life, it's in our hands how soon we go back from Godhead. But even though we have a material body, we need to take care of the material needs, responsibilities as a family, friend, or husband, or wife. We continue to do it, but only thing is we do all our activities in the service of the Krishna. So the same way, when we are, even though we have a material body, we are in the fully conscious of Krishna. We do tell our activities in the Krishna consciousness. We follow the regulative principles. We follow the Guru's instructions, and we engage in the Krishna Katha, Shravanam, Kirtanam. We doing all those things. We obviously in the we can get freed from the designations of material concept of life, even though we have a material body. But Devahuti here is in a higher stage of devotion. So that's why she has a Brahman realized soul. She is freed from the designation of material concept of life, and so Brahmeti, Paramatmeti, Bhagavaneti, right? So one can realize the supreme personality of Godhead in the Brahman or Paramatma or Bhagavan form. But as realizing Brahman is also a part of realization of Krishna. So I think that's what Prabhupada explained here. And being a Krishna consciousness, we are not an impersonalist, so we can realize that all the three forms of realizations by in this following the Navavidha Bhakti and following the Krishna consciousness. And also it says, Prabhupada says, we have to do as a Gruhastha or as a material body, we can do all the aspects of life, but we have to follow according to the regulations. So we can, whatever we eat prasadam, but we eat in a, for just maintain the body, not to eat for, other needs. And we can engage into other activities. We can people who want to get married, they can get married, but again, they can have follow the Gruhastha form of the life. And as Navavida Bhakti. So there are 9 stages of Bhakti, Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya, Anardhana Vritti, Nishta, Ruchi, Asakti, Bhava, and Prema. So when one is in the Prema, pure love of Krishna, that is the highest purpose. In the Bhakta Rasamrita Sindhu, it is explained like as follows. In the beginning stage, there must be a preliminary desire for self-realization. So this will lead to one to the platform of desiring to associate with the spiritually advanced persons. So as we are all gathering and attending this program, means we already have some primary desire and faith, and we are also doing the sadhu sangha, associating with the devotees and having these programs virtually or in person. The next step is to become initiated by an authorized spiritual master. So when one knows the purpose of life, and also one understand the importance of Krishna, once we have faith in the holy name, then we have to take a shelter of a guru and take an initiation, and then one has to perform the devotional service under his guidance. And through the execution of devotional service under the guidance of spiritual master, one will become free from all material attachments, and then achieves the steadiness in self-realization. This is the Anardhana Vritti stage, and then the steadiness comes, and then the taste in hearing about Krishna develops, the Supreme Personality of God. This taste leads one to the further attachment in the Krishna's consciousness, that is the attachment to the Krishna, and which is called then bhava, and are the preliminary stage of pure love of Godhead. And this pure love of Lord is called the prema, or the supreme perfection stage in the life. So these are all the 9 stages. I think we are always, we are in the first few stages where we still have trying to be in the Nishta, Ruchi taste, but ultimately the more and more we engage our activities in the Krishna consciousness, ABCD of the devotional service, associating, reading the books, chanting, and deity service, and having the prasad, and we can gradually move from Shraddha to Prema love. But in this verse, Devahuti already is in the highest pure love of Krishna, so she realized the Brahman realization, and she is no longer in the material designations, and all the material pangs are disappeared, and she attained the transcendental bliss. With that, I can conclude today's session. Please forgive me for shortcomings. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha, Krupa